Welcome to the Business Boom Podcast, powered by Boomtag Media. Each week, we are sitting down with growth-obsessed, dynamic entrepreneurs, marketing experts, and business owners who have cracked the code to explosive growth. I'm your host, Kendra Noel. Let's take things to the next level and spark your business into its boom era. Hi, we are live for another episode of the Business Boom Podcast. I want to welcome my guest, Tracie Calkin, today. Hi, Tracie.
Hi.
Hey.
How are you?
Great. I'm so glad to have you on, and we've been chatting for a little while in the pre-live. I can see we already have a commenter, so I know that we have at least one person joining us live. It's always great when we have people to interact with in the live recordings of the podcast, so that's exciting. But other than that, how was your day going today?
It's been good, kind of crazy, but
I would imagine as a realtor, you can say that it's always kind of crazy.
it is. Everything is crazy all the time.
So I guess I just gave away your title and what you do, but why don't I just go ahead and let you introduce yourself?
So I'm Tracie Calkin. I'm a real estate broker and a company owner here in Casper, Wyoming, of Platinum Properties of Casper. This is my 11th year of selling and my second year of being a broker. So
That's awesome. I was going to ask you when I was getting things ready how many years you've been doing this, and I could tell it had been over 10. So I just said that you'd had at least a decade of experience. So 11 years, though. That's really cool. What got you into it?
I always loved houses. So I would buy a house, flip it when my kids were younger, and then I would move on to the next house. And I was constantly always researching and watching the market. So it was just kind of a natural fit once my kids got out of
Oh, okay.
school and I could focus on them.
Yeah,
So,
that's perfect. So I'm going to learn new things about you today as well. So we know each other a little bit. We are local in the same town, and we have been doing these lunch and learns together. Now, if you've been following me for a while, you might have heard me talk about the lunch and learns. It's a way that I give back to the community here locally, and I've involved some other people to help and host those lunch and learns as well. You were one of them, and I think you were one of the first, besides myself and the other organizer. You were the first one to say, "Hey, I'll do one too," and you hosted it at your real estate company, which had an amazing office, and you did such a great job. I actually have hung on to that handout. I still have it, and that's what I based a lot of the questions on. So one question I get asked a lot is, I don't live there locally, but I'd love to be involved in your lunch and learn. So I had to do a lot of brainstorming and thinking about how I can make that happen. So something I have decided to do is go ahead and invite the lunch and learn host or co-host to be on the podcast. So even though Tracie, you hosted yours a long time ago, I knew when I was making my lineup of podcast guests that I wanted to have you on to talk about yours.
awesome.
Yeah. And I think that those are so cool because it's like a different level of networking. So I know that you do like a lot of networking on your own. You are probably constantly networking. But just a quick question for you about what you experienced with those lunch and learns. What would you say about the deepened level of networking that happens at that kind of thing?
For me, it was just making those connections. You get to know people a little more personal than, say, going to a big lunch. Like we have the Wyoming Women's Network that we sit at lunch at, but it's super hard to get to know someone in 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you are more in a smaller base, because the lunch and learns typically are 10-ish people, um, you get time to interact, understand what they really do, and how that can fit into your profession. So,
Yeah.
and sometimes not even in your profession. Like the last one that you did, um, I took emails from that and actually started ordering emails this
Oh, did
week.
you?
So it was, yeah, I did. So it's just learning different little quirks. And I loved learning something that, because I am on the run all the time, I don't eat great. It was a great one for me to sit through to learn how I could do that and make my lifestyle change a little bit.
Yeah. And just like the podcast, everything we do there is pretty much focused on entrepreneurship, how we can help and support entrepreneurs, make things better, and just like spark ideas, bounce things off each other. I think that that's a really great environment to just build some community of entrepreneurs who support each other. So that's one reason I like it. So thank you for just accepting the invite to come on the show and to talk more about it.
Absolutely. It's going to be awesome.
So, just a quick review um, on Tracie and why she is so great. I just think that you are like an entrepreneur on steroids. I would say that about most realtors, but a realtor in your position who has just stood out in a very crowded market, um, I think that you've done a really good job of that. So, um, is there anything you would say about that and how you go about standing out in a crowded market?
So I think one thing that sets me apart than a lot of the agents in town is just that I'm so brutally real and honest. I try to be nice to everybody. I follow the golden rule. I I don't know. I just am out, and I really truly love our community. I love our people. I love talking to people. I love trying to make Casper better. It's not just about real estate, I guess, probably is the biggest differential.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah. And you're a business owner who wears a lot of different hats. I did take a poll on LinkedIn this week. Just I kind of like to do a poll that's tied to the topic that we're going to be talking about on the podcast to see what other people react to about it. And the poll was, so how many hats would you say you wear as a business owner? And then the answers were all of them, 5 to 10 or less. And pretty much everyone said all of them. But I'm just wondering,
mhm.
for a realtor and a broker business owner, about how many hats would you think that you are wearing? And could you tell us about some of those?
Oh my gosh, I would say all of them. So I would say I do anything from being the janitorial staff, picking up stuff, cleaning our bathroom, doing dishes, making sure the front entrance looks good, to being a counselor to some of the agents, not just with business, but with their personal things that they have going on. I have an open door, so I have people, hey, can I talk to you? Can I talk to you? Let's talk about this. Let's bounce this off each other. So the counseling hat, negotiator, helping word things. I do a lot of, you should write it this way, or this would sound better. A lot of editorial duties. Um, gosh, transportation every once in a while. We cover each other at the office, so I do a lot of covering of agents' businesses when they're not around or they need help with something. Talking to other brokers if there's issues. Um, Babysitting and making sure everything is right on everything that we do. I have an extremely large type A personality. So very detailed as far as looking to make sure we're following everything, not getting ourselves in trouble. We do bookkeeping for the office, so we do a lot of that. Payroll. I mean, the list goes on and on
Hmm.
and on.
Yeah. I
So
follow a lot of realtors on social media, local and nationwide, and I've seen a lot of stuff lately about, uh, people can have this perception that all you do is like open doors and show up at closings, but there's a lot of stuff that you do in between. So I think you did a really good job of just now breaking that down, and there's a lot that goes into it. So why do you think people have that perception?
I think we've done it to ourselves, if I'm being honest, because a lot of agents, all you see is, oh, look at me. I'm out here doing this and I'm out spending money on this and I'm out spending money on this. And then, boom, we're at the closing table and everything's hunky dory and everybody's happy. And that's all you really see of their daily life. You don't see me going to a client's house and scrubbing the toilet because it's not clean enough for a closing, or no one wants to show those sides of it.
Hmm.
Or the 6 a.m. phone calls or the 9 o'clock at night offer writings, you know. So I think it's just how we have put it out there. Or, I bought a new Lexus. I bought, people put everything they do on Facebook, which is sometimes a curse.
It can be for sure. Yeah. The perception that you put out there that everything's perfect all the time. Uh,
Absolutely.
Either that, or I seem to see a lot of, I don't know, negativity on Facebook.
Hmm.
But um,
Absolutely.
yeah, so I'd just like to highlight this comment really quick because I think it's a really great perspective. So, different perspectives of different industries are invaluable and out of the box. So, I know a realtor hasn't been like common for the type of business owners that I've been inviting on the podcast, but I'm really, really excited to get more perspective from you. So, one of the things that you went over on this lunch and learn that I mentioned at the beginning, and the things that I wanted to talk about is well, let's start with one of the first tricks that I learned from you. Okay. And I took notes this
Okay.
day, and visualization. So I'd like for you to
Hmm.
talk more about that, but just a little bit of a backstory. That's one of the first things that you talked about when you did the lunch and learn.
Hmm.
And I wrote down the note that said to visualize and make it a screensaver on my computer. So this was about what, like a year and a half ago when you did this talk.
Hmm.
And I've had it on my screensaver since then. And I think I have accomplished 7 out of the 10 things that I put down. So I think there
That's
is
awesome.
something to that. I think sometimes it gets a little too like woo woo for me, like the visualization kind of thing. But there's definitely a trick there. So could you talk more about that?
Absolutely. So I feel like if it's in your face all of the time, you mentally just go there without even trying. It's not, you have to sit and meditate, you have to do anything like that. So, for an example, and I think I did this in the lunch and learn, there, we have a cabin in the Bighorns, a family cabin, and there was a cabin above ours that we really, really, really wanted to buy. So I visualized it. I had it as a screensaver. That was on my goal list. I didn't think it would happen as fast as it did, but I looked at that every single day. And by some mysterious thing, the people called me one day out of the blue and said, "We're ready to sell that cabin. Do you want it?"
Oh,
And I'm like,
awesome.
"Well, yeah." Yeah, and it was, I think it literally was from, okay, this is my goal, and I need to get there at some point. And like I said, I didn't imagine it would be any time in the near future, but that's really what I wanted.
Hmm.
Not just a cabin in the mountains. I wanted that cabin in the mountains.
Yeah.
So, and then as far as goals, like I will do everything visual. So this year on my vision board, on my screensaver, I had like going to Nashville, going to Africa, going, like, just everything I could wildly dream of that would be exciting for me. And I've already went to Nashville. I've already, like, it makes it where that's what you strive for.
Hmm.
It's just a mental game, I think.
Yeah. So when I first started the screensaver, there were like a bunch of things on there to look forward to, like in it. So it was like pressing me on to do those things. Now, when I open my computer and I see the screensaver, I see a bunch of things that I've accomplished, and it does make me feel really happy and like, ooh, okay, there's some pride to be had and having actually done all those things. Actually, this podcast was one of the things on that board. Was to start a podcast. So that's really cool to see those
That's
things come to fruition. I'm kind of wondering, like, now that I've done, I like think 7 out of 10 things on the board, is it time for a new board? Do you think, or do you think I wait for the 3 things that I haven't done yet?
Oh, I think you need a new board. I think you need to change it up.
Yeah, yeah. I've been wondering.
And you can leave the 3 things on there, but then you have some other, and in my experience, you can't make them all big. Like some of them are, for me, sell 25 houses, or, something that you can work at that's small and like all different levels of goals
Hmm.
basically on there. Or if they're all big, you're not going to have that accomplishment. And when you get that accomplishment, what do you want to do? Heck yeah, I want to do another one of my goals,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
So,
So maybe move the remaining 3, because there's still things I want to do, to a new board, and then
mhm,
add some things that are newer,
absolutely.
fresher, want to be looking forward to, and that kind of thing. But I think it has been kind of a cool season to open it up and be like, cool, I did those.
Heck yeah.
Yeah,
If you didn't do any, you'd be not wanting to open your computer ever.
that's true. Yeah, I didn't think
Yeah,
about that. Then I would
yeah,
just be like exciting at first, and
it'd be
then you'd
daunting.
be negative every time you opened it. Like, nope, have not done that
Exactly.
yet. So I'm glad that hasn't been the case.
That's all. I'm so proud of you.
Oh, thank
That's
you.
awesome.
Yeah, it's fun. So, but I think of you when I think about the fact that that's my screensaver. So, um, all right, let's move on to staying top of mind. So you had some really
Mhm.
great tips on staying top of mind, and I'll go down through those real quick. But just like a broad overview, what would you say for the crowded market? Because a lot of people will say that, and I think your case is really, it's definitely true that there's a
Mhm.
crowded market. In fact, do you happen to know in our local community how many realtors there are?
There are over 400
Over
right now
400 in a town or
in our,
city of,
in our community.
right,
Yeah.
of about how big is the community?
I would say Casper is about 60,000 ish, give or take.
Okay.
So,
Yeah. So we have
yeah.
a very high concentration of realtors in a small community. So staying top of mind, what do you think of when you think about staying top of mind?
For me, it's just reaching out to people, going to events. For my clients, I keep track of them no matter where they go. Where if they move out of state, I still talk to them on Facebook. If they're in state, I do what is called a pop by, which is not life changing, but I stop by their house with little seasonal gifts, or I send cards out. I send real estate reviews that tell them what the market's doing. Like that's super important. And it wouldn't just be for my business that you could do that. You could pop by anything that is business related to a business. If you have swag, if you have anything, I invite my clients to do things with me. It's more of a friendship when we're done. It's not just a client base, I guess.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah, that's great.
and I think being thankful to people too, like when you had your speaker for the lunch and learn where I learned something from it, I always send a thank you card and I'm like, hey, loved it. This is what I got out of it. Like, why would you not have gratitude for those people who took time to show you something that could change your life?
Hmm. Yeah, that's true. I hadn't
So,
thought about that. I have been a receiver of a thank you card from you before. So that is definitely thoughtful. It's just putting in that extra effort. And so it
mhm,
seems like you have found that that's proven to go a long way.
definitely.
Okay, cool. Well, one of the things that I know you had mentioned was community involvement. So, what are some of the things that you do to stay involved in the community?
So I do sit on the board for the Olivia Caldwell Foundation, which is a foundation here in Casper that helps with childhood cancer. They have came up with treatments and different cures actually for some of the childhood cancers. So very good cause. So I sit on that board. I go to their events. I go to a lot of different fund. Casper's an awesome community for fundraising. So I go to a lot of fundraising events, try
Hmm.
to sponsor different events at some level.
Yeah. Does that
You
get,
can't do
oh,
them
oh,
all,
that
but
was my next question. Does that get overwhelming? Because um, I know that
yes,
there's things going on weekly, almost daily. Like you can find fundraising and community things that are all good things, right? Like you'd like to do them all,
yes.
but
Oh gosh, I'd love to. Yeah.
mhm,
I get hit up nonstop. And it's so hard to say no. It's hard to decide, but you have to decide what is an important cause that you want to back. And I primarily back Olivia Caldwell at this point versus 20 different things. I give more to one place instead of trying to spread out a small amount of
yeah.
money. So,
So more of a focused effort. Mhm.
yes. And the other thing I had to implement, which was really hard, is a lot of my clients' kids would want me to sponsor a baseball, to sponsor a volleyball, and I finally said I cannot sponsor any kids events for any clients just because if I did one, I have to do all of them. I have that personality,
Mhm.
and that's a lot. When you have baseball teams, soccer teams, football teams, there's no way you could possibly not hurt someone's feelings. So I just made it a across the board. I'm really sorry. This is where I donate my money.
Yeah.
So
I totally get that. And as a parent who has kids who play sports, I've kind of seen this um, new phenomenon where instead of paying thousands of dollars like they do like in neighboring states, Colorado, I know if you want your kid in sports, you have to raise $3,000 to $5,000 for a season. So instead of that, they're
mhm.
keeping the prices fairly controllable for the parents, but then the kids have to go out and find business sponsors. So business owners
Right.
in general are just getting hit hard with those kind of requests, I know.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I like the idea of a focused effort. And then besides the fundraising, community involvement, I know I've seen you like at volunteer kind of opportunities before, things like that. How do you
Absolutely.
think that that helps with staying top of mind?
Um, I think you just meet a variety of people that are not necessarily in your circle.
Hmm.
So, like picking up trash on the parkways, you're going to meet different people than at a really fancy dinner event. And I'm all about the people. So, I don't care if we go to a fancy event or if we're picking up trash. Like, it's just a matter of meeting
Yeah.
people and getting to know them.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah. And then that hopes that one day when they need a realtor, they remember a realtor that they
absolutely.
met at that kind of thing. Yeah.
Exactly. And I think that still goes back to the golden rule. Like, if you treat people nicely, and I think treating even your wait staff, which is a whole other subject, but it's all in how you treat people. And if you treat people, they will remember you if you treat them respectfully and stand out as respecting them.
Yeah.
So,
That's a great point, and it brings me to this comment from Jamie that says building genuine relationships is key.
absolutely.
All right, so you talked a little bit about the pop buys. Can you give us some examples of some of the things that you have brought to networking or that you use to just drop by a client's house to brighten their day?
Sure. So, one of my favorites was we have a team called the Spuds. It's a baseball team, just a local baseball team here. I bought Spuds tickets and then I made hats that were Tracie Calkin real estate. baseball caps and filled them with like Cracker Jack and some sunflower seeds and tickets to the Spuds games. So my clients love that one. Um, I do Fourth of July flags every year religiously because I think it's important. At our events, I don't, gosh, what have I done? I've done Girl Scout cookies. I've done just baskets seasonally, like houses that would remind you of me. So little cute houses that light up. I've done that, I think, at one of the networking events. I'm trying to think what other ones I've done. Flower seeds. I mean, it's not, it doesn't have to be expensive
Mm-hmm.
things. It's just things that remind them of me and top of mind. Oh, call Tracie. She'll help you, you know,
Yeah.
and it's worked across the board.
One of
So
the things that you brought to a networking event that just like I'm thinking of as you're talking was like a little house. I don't know if it was like a tea light or like a little electric candle or something, but it was a cute little white ceramic house. I
yeah,
wouldn't imagine you spent a whole lot on them, but they were super cute. And it's a house and you're a realtor. And so, like, the connection there is just perfect for building that staying top of mind mentality.
absolutely. Yeah, I think I've had a lot of people say, "I still have that little house you gave me." I'm like, "It literally came from Hobby Lobby, and I think it was half price when I bought them." And they just lit up, but they were super cute, and you could put them anywhere in your house.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah, good way to stay just on people's minds. So I love that. And it's also like a very giving spirit, I would say, just being willing to invest that little bit to brighten someone's day, have something tangible that they can link to and think about you when they see it.
mhm, absolutely.
Okay, so that was the pop buys, and you talked about this other thing called pop up parties. I did get to go to one, but I know you've done a lot of other ones. So give us some examples of how business owners might be able to use pop up parties.
So this goes back to gratitude. There's a huge theme with me, it's pretty much gratitude, being thankful. I'm very thankful for everything in my life, and I feel like I don't really have bad days. So that's kind of how I lead my life. So we've had awesome parties for our client base. At Thanksgiving, we do pie parties, which we found a local brewery, and it was amazing this year. We did a pint and a pie, um, and had a huge turnout, just giving people pies for Thanksgiving. That was one of them. This summer, we did a summer party. And so we found another local brewery to try to support. And we had food trucks and vendors. Some of the people that we use for our inspections, anything that's house related that we call our contractors for. We had a lot of contractors there. And just as a thank you, opened up a beer tab basically and the food truck tab and just had a picnic, you know, and it was a great time to mingle with a ton of clients.
Hmm.
So,
And then you have the double benefit of being a local business supporting other local businesses. So
mhm.
I love digital marketing and like how you have like such a broad audience, but there's something really special about that local community and supporting people within it. So I love that idea. I think there's a lot of different ways different business owners could use that idea and run with it. So thank you for that.
And we've done the other one that we've done, I totally forgot about, is a clothing shop that had just opened.
Hmm.
So we had like a happy hour at that closing clothing shop and just did light snacks and some wine and let people come in and shop. And she had a huge success
Yeah, that's the one
for
that I
that.
got to
It
go to.
cost us nothing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And her business boomed from it, which was amazing.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah, I love hearing about businesses booming. That's a
mhm,
little
absolutely.
little that goes along with my theme. So love that. Meryl says, kudos to Tracie for following the golden rule in making Casper, Wyoming a happy place and a great community. I would agree completely with that, Meryl. So thank you. Okay, pop-up parties, those were great tips there. Let's talk about being relational, not transactional.
That's a huge one for me. A lot of agents and polls actually show data that real estate agents, pretty much any business owner, unless you really generally care about your clients, people don't even remember who you are by the time your transaction is done. Be that at Walmart, be that selling houses, selling cars, any of that. If it's all about the transaction, you're not going to have repeat business per se. Um, if you ask people who their agent was 5 years ago that sold their house, a lot of them have no idea when I talk to them,
Mhm.
which is so sad to me because I build friendships. I don't just sell you a house and move on.
Yeah.
I've out of all the years I have sold so many houses to people's kids, parents, grandkids, aunts, uncles, friends. I have clients that have sold 8 or 9 or 10 houses with me singly. It's that relational relationship where you know their kids, you know about them, you know what school they go to, you know how old they are, you know all of the details of their life that they come back to you.
Mhm. That's awesome. So when you build that relationship, you're not only building it for and not like you're doing it intentionally that they'll have kids
No, it
or
just
other people that
happened.
they'll refer. You build that relationship and it goes so deep that they automatically want to recommend you and refer you, and that is a huge transaction, like, to forget who sold your sold you your house, like, that is one of the biggest transactions you make in life, like, and sure, maybe in your life you buy 8 houses, but it's
Absolutely.
still a huge process, so to not have someone that was rememberable, uh, yeah,
Hmm.
that's
Or what if your
surprising.
parents pass away and you sell their house? Like, not only is your first house an emotional investment,
Mhm.
out of something like that that happens is a huge emotional toll. And if you can't remember the person that walked you through that,
Yeah,
that's awful.
yeah. I would agree. Yeah. And every industry I think could learn a lot from being relational, not transactional. So,
Absolutely.
okay, let's talk about being a leader in your industry or in any industry. How do you think people can really show up and lead?
For this one, I think the most important thing is everybody always views other businesses as their competition. And that
Hmm.
mindset has got to change. In our industry, it's awful. I will just say that. Um, they are my clients too, other agents. To put a transaction together, we have to work together for the entire transaction. With business owners, whether you sell cars, if you sell bicycle parts, it doesn't matter. Your competition can help you leverage your business. You don't have to hate each other and be competition. You can work together for the betterment of the community, I feel like.
Hmm. Yeah. And what about working with other realtors outside of your local area? Has that ever proved to be beneficial, like with referrals or
I
anything like that?
actually do that a ton. I have in the state, I have obviously my pockets that I've made friends from serving on the Casper Board of Realtors and going to national conventions and stuff. But across the United States, there's people I've used. I get Christmas presents from a lady in North Carolina that I gave a referral probably 5 years ago. I mean, you make friendships and you know that that pocket, people are going to take care of your people there.
Mhm. Oh, so if you have people, say, selling a house here and moving out of state, you have
Yeah,
built a referral network so you know who you feel
absolutely.
comfortable sending them to.
Yep. And then, of course, anybody in the United States can refer people to us as well. So,
Mhm.
kind of works both ways, but we make some great friendships throughout that process.
Yeah. And in other industries, I can definitely see that working. Like, you want to be the go-to, the person to help, but sometimes you either for location reason, if it needs to be in person, or maybe it's a specialty reason. Maybe it's not your specialty, but you know someone who does specialize in that. So referrals are a great way to be a leader in an industry. I think not like just trying to hoard all the business for yourself, but I like what you said about competition and being willing to not have that, combativeness with other people in your industry.
Well, and I've even referred, if it wasn't something that I felt comfortable or felt like I was an expert at, I've referred to agents locally in our same market. I said, I don't think I'm the best fit for this person. I would love to help them, but you are so much more knowledgeable about this. I want to give you this client so you can help them. It's all about helping the people, not about making a paycheck.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah. One of the other things that you put in the lunch and learn that stood out to me was stepping up to lead when it's time to lead. Like a lot of people talk about leadership, but then a situation happens and they want to back down. So, um, as far as leadership goes, what would you say to that?
um, leadership's not easy. Everybody judges everything that you do, and you're a leader, and you have to have a big enough backbone to be able to have the hard conversations and make the hard waves to ensure that you are leading, and not only leading just in what you believe, it's what your peers that you are leading believe. It can't just be your opinion.
Hmm.
Um, so I think definitely standing up in those roles is hard. If
Yeah.
you, people criticize, they hate on you. So,
Have you ever been, or like, can you think of something where you just had to be the one to make the hard decision, like a certain circumstance?
yes, actually, there was somebody in our industry that did some stuff that wasn't on the up and up, and they had to be removed from our board. And I was one of them that said, this absolutely has to happen for the integrity of our board. And that's not an easy thing to say, but you have to.
Yeah, I would imagine that would be a really hard thing to have to be one of the ones to stand up and say, this is not right. But that's part of leadership, right? Is standing up for the right things. And
Even when it's
yeah,
hard.
even when it's hard, especially when it's hard.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Good example. Oh, let's see. There's this thing that you said about creating raving fans. So,
Mhm.
creating raving fans, I love the idea. Let's talk about that more.
Oh my gosh. So I think we've kind of went over a lot of the ways I do this. Um, but I'll pick up the phone and just call people. If somebody is on your mind, there's a reason for it. And at those times, I will pick up the phone and say, "Okay, you're on my mind. What is going on?" I don't care if you ever bought a house for me or not. I have a client right now that I'm actually working with that I've never sold her a house. She's been on and off the radar for 10 years, but I
Hmm.
know she's going through some stuff right now. And I'm like, hey, I haven't heard from you. What is going on? And it's not about the house, it's about making sure she's okay. And I think instances like that, where you put the people first, you end up having raving fans. I have another client that if I put something on Facebook to sell a house that I'm listing or buying or whatever I need to do, he shares every single post that I put on there. And I've sold them one house. They came from out of state. They didn't know me from anyone. And I could have dropped the ball and never been involved in their life, but they invite me to their parties. He shares every post I do. It's a part of being in their lives where they don't rave against you, they rave for you.
Yeah. That's awesome. I love like the reciprocity of that. And I would say I don't have raving fans right now, but I try to be that raving fan for everyone in my life who I know is like working for something, like they have their own business. Anyone I network with, anyone that I've ever been on a discovery call with, anyone that I've interviewed on a podcast or done any kind of collaboration with, if I see their post, I don't share them because that would get confusing with the stuff that I try to share. But I
Mhm.
always try to be intentional about every once in a while leaving a comment, that kind of thing. So I think that also it's nice to create raving fans, but being that raving fan for someone else can also go a long way.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that's if you live your life like that, I feel like what you give is what you get. And I just,
Hmm.
like I said, from the wait staff to people who wait on you at Walmart, it doesn't matter. Like, it takes so little time to just be nice to everyone, even if they suck. I mean, there's people I don't love to be around. I still am nice to them. You know,
Yeah.
it's it's just a
Hmm.
matter of how you treat people.
Yeah. That's
So,
awesome. It's a good way to go about business and life, I think.
and I think it makes you just feel better as a human. So,
Hmm. Absolutely. Okay, so we'll wrap things up in just a little bit, but before we do, I was wondering if we could ask you some questions about commercial property, because there may be some people listening or on the replay who just are like, I've thought about maybe my business is at that level where I need to have a space. I know that there was a big push for everyone to go to home offices, be working from home, building their businesses at home. I'm kind of starting to hear some things about kind of like that's an anti trend now, and people are coming back to offices, coming back to storefronts, having a commercial space. So, what are some of the things that people need to be cognizant of when they are looking for a commercial space?
so I would say one thing is every commercial property sells different than a house. Commercial businesses and business owners, it is not an emotional thing. So if you're trying to buy or sell a commercial house, that's the first thing you need to know is it's 100% not emotional. It is all about the numbers. Do the numbers work?
Okay.
Does the price work? Does the square footage work? Do the repairs work? It's all about the bottom line on commercial property. No one says, "Oh my God, I love the shop with all my heart. I'm not getting rid of it." I've never heard that. So that's the first thing is you have to just basically make the numbers work. The other thing is I would say your frontages, it depends on what you are looking for, but most of it is location, cost per square foot, access to people. A lot of like in a lot of businesses that did go to home networking and didn't have an office don't necessarily need that frontage. But from the trend I'm seeing, at least in Casper, is people really want that frontage. They want that in your face. They want to get their name out there. And it's really hard to do that from some of these locations that are hidden.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah, so you could have like an interior office and it would solve the solution, like an interior big office building, an interior office that you have to go up 4 floors and nobody's seeing it from the street side, is what you mean, right?
absolutely. Like if you wanted to put boom tag out there, are you going to be able to do that if no one sees you in that office? Probably not. You know,
Hmm.
if you had boom tag out with, I know what your stickers and everything look like with the big bomb, people are going to
Hmm.
ask questions about, "Well, who is that? What is,
Yeah.
people are curious. Like, why is there a big bomb on the sign?
Hmm.
So just my
Yeah.
2 cents. But I mean, and there are some people that don't need the offices and stuff out in the public eye. But I do think that is more of where things are trending currently.
Yeah. So you've seen the same kind of thing. Like I've just heard little rumors and things about it. People talking on podcasts is usually where I get my information from.
Yeah.
But you are like boots on the ground. You would know like that does seem to be a trend, you think?
Absolutely. And I think even in my profession, like the realtors who are working from home, who never have any interaction with other people. They're not as successful as the people who go to the office, do the office meetings, have the trainings. You can see it in our industry a ton on
Hmm.
sales. So
Yeah.
people need people.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah, I agree. One of the reasons why I love doing this podcast live is because of the fact that I work from home. I'm not out talking to a lot of people. So when I'm seeing like the comments and everything come in when we're doing these live recordings, it's just like, oh, fun interaction. Like that makes
mhm,
my day because
absolutely.
I'm not going out to an office all the time. But when we talked about visualization at the beginning, you had this really cool example of this cabin that you wanted, and you put it in front of you. And then now talking about the commercial property, and you just said, like, hey, if you ever want commercial property, it made me think of this. So there's this building that does have frontage that I drive past like almost daily because it's on the way to the post office and I
Mhm.
have to go check a P.O. box every day. So every time I drive past it, I'm like, if that building ever goes for sale, um, that may be Boomtag's building. And I don't really have this connection to any other place in town. But
Mhm.
that particular place is like, it's not like on a vision board or anything like that. But every time I drive by it, I was like, maybe one day that's Boomtag's building.
Maybe
So,
that should go on your list.
yeah, after we get off the call, maybe I'll have to tell you my secret what building I've had my eye on, just so if you ever hear any rumors, you can tell me.
Right? Oh yeah. We'll just bug them.
It's a someday goal, maybe. So
Yeah. Well, it should go on your vision board. There's a
yeah,
reason why it's constantly coming up to you.
hmm yeah, I like the idea. So you never know. I've kind of tried to build everything purposefully so that I don't need commercial space,
Mhm.
but I do like the idea of people seeing you more, especially being on a busy road where there's some traffic and people see your sign constantly. Like I said, on the way to the post office, people driving by it daily. Like there is something to that for sure.
I think there is for sure.
Yeah. We can all do as much as we can to get out there digitally and have a really great digital presence. And, that's what I help people with. And I think that that's super important.
Absolutely.
But having a physical presence, tangible, something people look at, drive by, can walk into, that that sounds like a pretty cool someday goal for me.
Well, and
So,
it even helps, like in my business, having that brick and mortar where I can say, okay, come into the office. If I go into their house when we're dealing with hard negotiations, it's a different negotiation than if I say, come into my professional business office. Let's sit at this conference table and
mhm.
negotiate this out. It's a totally different vibe from the minute it starts to the minute it finishes than being at the kitchen table of their house where they have total control, if that makes sense.
No, it does.
It's a totally different vibe when I go to the
Mhm.
office. So,
And a different level of professionalism that they
absolutely.
see from you. Yeah,
Yeah,
I like that. Okay, well, would you tell us how people can find you online?
absolutely. So, I do have a Facebook page. It's Tracie Calkin Real Estate. I am on LinkedIn as well, and I have Instagram. I'm trying to think what else I have. Facebook, Instagram. I think that's about it. I don't do much YouTube.
Okay,
Not a huge video girl. I'm pretty humble and not really into videos. At some point, maybe. I know that's the way of the world, but it's just not for me. So
right. I get it. I talk to people constantly who are exactly at that point. So I have been brainstorming some things to try to help people over that hump to where they're more comfortable on video. I'm
awesome.
changing up my offers a little bit here soon. I actually just last week did I don't want to say too much about it before it's an official offer, but something like this, but it wasn't live, with a client who wants to get on video, and I'm going to chop it up into like the little replays and the little shorts for them so that they can have some video content that looks kind of like a podcast interview. So that's something that I'm working on. Maybe that will help
That'll be
some
awesome.
people get over the hump and be a little bit more comfortable talking on camera, because when we do this, it just feels like more natural, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah. And if you don't follow Tracie, I would say go follow her. If for nothing else, follow her for her funny Fridays.
People love
So,
those.
oh, yes. So just give an example of one of your recent funny Fridays, because they make me laugh and make my day every time I see them.
So I look for any weird house stuff that you see. You see the inspectors kind of doing it on TikTok, where they have the houses that they inspect and like the toilet blocks the door from opening, or just some god awful pictures of people's home interiors that they do, like fishbowl toilet bowls that literally have fish in the toilet bowl, the gaudy throne looking toilets. You never know what you're going to see on Funny Fridays. They're awesome.
Right? There have been some great bathroom fumbles. I've seen some pretty interesting kitchen things too.
Yes, bright pink kitchens,
Uh-huh.
great for resale.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'm always one of those types of people who's really cognizant when I have a home that someday it's going to be resold.
Yes.
So, I'll put my artwork or whatever on the wall, but I'm not typically doing those really outlandish things. But
Mhm.
I've been surprised just by watching your social media, the things that people will do to their homes and then try to resell it that way.
Yes. And I keep in mind I have to pull these from other places so I don't offend anyone here. Just think of the things I
Hmm.
see that I can't put on there.
Oh, yeah, I would imagine. Okay, great. Well, it's been awesome talking to you. Uh, Brian says Tracie will get you a good deal. Thank you
Absolutely.
so much for coming on the podcast. It's been a
Absolutely.
blast, and I am sure that people learned a lot. So I
Well,
hope
thank you for
everyone
having
has a wonderful day. Thanks.
That's it for this week's Business Boom podcast. You've got the spark. Now go light up your business with what you have learned. If you like what you heard today, hit that subscribe button, drop us a review, or tell a fellow entrepreneur about the show. Keep pushing, keep growing, and catch us next week for more booming business strategies.
Cute.